Alright. We are back. I love how the AC catches on when we get back. Alright, let's get it. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 2 of My Purple Time Machine, a podcast about a little bit about everything. Alright, welcome back. This is episode 2 on making a 2D platformer game in Unity. This is the My Purple Time Machine podcast. I am your host, Mr. Alejandro, and today we are talking about game development. Alright, welcome back to episode 2 of the My Purple Time Machine podcast. Today we are talking about some game development stuff in the Unity game engine. I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth on making a 2D platformer game in Unity and finishing up this initial run of basic Unity tutorials. So let's just jump right in. I'm gonna set a quick timer real quick. And we are ready to go. Okay, so I have 2 programs open right now. I have Adobe. Alright, so I have 2 programs open right now. I have Adobe Animate and I have the Unity game engine. Basically, we're going to be using both of these to make our game. So this is a 2D game. Like I've said before, 2D is a lot easier to navigate and work in than 3D, especially for beginners. So right now, this is the actual map. This is like a little secret area down here. This is the main area the character runs and plays in. So let's just play the game and just see kind of how it is right now. And I'm gonna make a bunch of random changes to the game in the basic game mechanics real quick, and just kind of show you how quickly we can get some ideas going and really start making this our game. Alright, so out of the box, this is what we have. We have the guy running. He can jump. He can collect coins. Pretty cool, pretty straightforward. He dies. He goes back over here. Right now I'm in play mode. One quick thing about play mode that I didn't mention in the first video is when you're in play mode, you can click right here where it says play focused, play maximized, or play unfocused, and basically use that to increase the size of the screen. So if I go over here to game mode, and instead of play focused, I want to play maximized, so that when we play the game, I'm seeing the entire screen fill up with the game. What happened? Alright, so let's close these extra windows. Alright, so the game is in full mode right now. So the first changes that we're going to make into the game are I want to change the color of our main character, the color of the bad guys, and the color of this background. So let's change that real quick. How do we change that? So first off, let's clean up this window. I want to go to this work area. I'm going to go to Window, select Layouts, and then go to Default. I'm just going to use default right now. Simple layout. You can kind of stretch it, use the little cursor right there to stretch it and grab it however you like to make it work. But basically, you have three main areas in Unity. You have the side area right here that's considered the hierarchy. It's this whole area right here that has basically everything in the game. You're gonna have your player, you have your cameras, you have your music systems, whatever. And basically in the hierarchy, if I go over here and click this player and zoom and double click on them, it'll zoom into the player. A trick that we used in the last episode was using keyboard shortcuts. So one keyboard shortcut I love in Unity is pressing F, and that will actually frame the screen onto the selected game object. So if I go zoom out real quick and I click player and I click F, it zooms in right to our player. If I do the same thing for the coins, click F. I got a lot of coins collected. Click F, zooms into the coin. So let's do this first. Let's actually change this from this Ruby or whatever that is. This to let's change this to another type of sprite. So right now I'm gonna be using some game assets that I have already. Basically, Unity, you have what's called an asset store. I'm not gonna get into that in this video too much. I'm just letting you know where I'm getting these things from. So actually, let me think. Where can I get what I want? But essentially, you can look at assets like things that are going to help your game, make your game faster. So, for example, I can find. Alright, so let's just say we want to use this asset in the background for the game. So I'm going to download that, and this asset is a background that somebody else made and uploaded online, and then I was able to, use this for this game, another game, whatever. An asset can be a character, it can be music, it could be a little bit of anything. So kind of keep that in mind when you're making games. You can use assets to speed up development, because this diamond right here, I can go to Adobe Animate and literally, draw my own diamond. Let's do it a little bit more seriously. And I'm using the mouse. I'm not even gonna use the tablet right now. All right, let's do this actually serious and make a diamond asset the way I would make it. So basically, in Adobe Animate, I'm able to draw things essentially, and you're drawing, but you're drawing in a vector format. So right now I'm just doing this to make a quick graphic, but if I was gonna really make this in Adobe Animate, I would definitely use the line tool right here and kind of line it up and make, some clean lines. But I'm not doing that right now. So let's just say we're making that same exact graphic that's over there in Unity. Adobe Animate I like to use because it comes with, all the apps with Adobe and Photoshop and all that. So it kind of is a part of that ecosystem. And it's just the best program to use when it comes to any type of animation, any type of 2D art creation, um, and all that. Let's just say that's a little shine, and we don't want to have a black outline. We're going to have actual outline that looks like a jewel. That doesn't look too bad. Let's darken this a little bit. Alright, cool. That doesn't look too bad. We made a graphic in like 30 seconds. Cool. So that's the graphic that we made. I'm not going to use this for the coin. I'm actually going to create something unique that I want to use for a 2D platformer where you are a little locksmith character and you're running around, and I'm going to be able to basically replace this little blob dude. So I got my stuff in the way. Let's do this. Basically replace that blob dude with a little safe. So let's do this. I want to replace, let's say, this main character. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna keep the main character, I think. Let's see if I turn the main character a different color and possibly like try to give him a hat or something. I'm trying to do this with the minimal amount of work. I want to make it my own game, but I don't want to redo like all these animations and stuff from scratch. So I'm gonna see if I can do it in a really quick way to show you guys. So alright, so let's zoom out of here. This has been imported, so I'm gonna go out, and that's probably going to be the only asset that I use, so that I'll end up making a lot of assets real quick in Adobe Animate. So, alright, the first thing that we're going to do is I want this blob, instead of it being a blob, I want it to be a safe. So let's just go to Adobe Animate real quick and make us a safe. And we're going to cheat. We're going to go over to Google, because whenever we're trying to make art, in my opinion, it makes the most sense to Google safe clip art. This is what I want to make, so why would I not look at what I want to make? So at Google safe clip art, go to images, and I find a safe I like. So I want a basic safe, so we're going to use this little dude right there, probably, even though I kind of want this one. I knew I was going to get picky about the safe. We'll do this one because this guy has a dial and a, what's it called? A keypad, so that one's cool. So I'm not gonna really be able to prove my point with that graphic because it's so good, but I will. All right, so with this graphic that we just found, I'm gonna be able to actually just throw this into Unity and it'll work perfectly. So I don't even have to. I can skip a step in bringing it to Adobe Animate. I don't really even need to do that with this graphic. So I'm gonna skip that, and we're gonna go to dollar bill vector. Alright, so basically, instead of collecting coins, we're gonna go back to the Unity game engine. Instead of collecting coins, we're gonna have the player collect money. So we need to see what this money is gonna look like, and the best way to do that is, I don't know, let's go to Google. So go to Google, we have multiple images for money that we can use, but I'm going to use this one right here. And for the next two images, I'm basically going to show you how to create 2D graphics and put them quickly into Unity in two different ways. So I'm gonna make a dollar bill, and then what else do we need in this game? We'll do a sign. Yeah, we'll do a locksmith sign. Keys, cut, here, sign. Cool. So, okay. So like I said, we're gonna do both of these in a different way. So, like I said, the safe is already gonna be in Unity. So I'll do that real quick, and then I'll go start making graphics. So the first thing that I want to do when we're starting to edit the game is I want to start deleting some of the stuff that's in the game already. So right now we have this background, which is just like this world, and I don't want that. I don't want any of that. So we're gonna find it in the hierarchy and go to where it says background, level, and foreground. So we have, literally the different types of the background. I'm not going to change any of this right now. I'll probably end up changing the color in a second here. But all I want to really do is just change this background. So one quick thing I can do real quick for the background, instead of even deleting it, I can just unclick this button right here, and I don't see, it takes it away from the game, so you can't see it anymore. That's a quick way to make major changes when you're doing this type of deal, and you can turn it on and off. So this is a good example of us playing the game and me turning these graphics on and off, affecting the game, and you can kind of use that to test and whatever. So like I said, we are going to keep it off. And the second thing is I want to get rid of these trees. So we will go and grab our safe image that we got. Okay. Alright, we're grabbing the safe image that we downloaded and throwing that into Unity. Alright, so basically you want to make sure it's a sprite and all that. Alright, perfect. So I want to change this enemy into a safe. So basically right now, if I go over to this bar right here and I just type in enemy, so if I type in E right there, we see the enemy populate right here. So this is the enemy prefab, and I can drag in this enemy right there. Let me go back, click 2D if that happens. So I'm happy I'm doing these tutorials like this where I do it live, and I may make a mistake, because that way people can see literally like how we fix these mistakes and how we avoid them. So right now, if I'm able to rotate like that, I'm clicking the right button on my mouse, and I'm rotating around, if I'm able to do that, I'm in 3D mode. So I know I'm in 3D mode because I can zoom in and out, and I'm not on a flat plane. If I click this button right here for 2D, then I'm on 2D mode, and I'm in the proper locked mode for this particular game. So that's how I want to add on different objects or anything like that. So if I go back and try to find the safe sprite that I just added that I do not see anymore, I can just add that into the game world so you can kind of see what it looks like. So we just added it in there. What happened? Alright, so we added our safe that we just found from Google. And basically, like I said, I'm going to be making the game, I'm going to be changing this game so that you are a locksmith and you're running around and you're collecting money and you're beating up safes and locks and all that. Pretty cool, right? Alright, so this is a safe. We're going to put it just right there. Later, I'm going to add physics to the safe so that you can possibly move it a little bit, jump on top of it and all that. Right now, it's just a graphic in the game. I do want to delete these trees. So let's go and do that real quick. In a 3D game, in a 3D version of Unity, it's going to be a little bit easier to just kind of select things like that and delete what you want. In 2D, you want to kind of just find it over here in the hierarchy and delete it that way. So if I go over, let me see, is it far background? So the far background, I don't want that either because that looks like it's the clouds and stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to delete that. And then level is the actual, solid parts of the game world. So I'm going to keep all that. And obviously we can change this later and edit it if we like. But right now I want to keep things kind of straightforward and get into a very basic template. That's not in the proper place, so we're gonna adjust that, and I'll do that better next time. But we're just getting this set up so that we can make our changes to really make this game ours. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to 2D mode. We got the safe in the game, and the next thing we want to do is get this money in the game. So I'm going back to Adobe Animate, and we're going to create these graphics in two different ways. So for this money, I just want to make it really quickly. So I'm going to use my brush tool, and I'm going to just make it by looking at it right there. So that's my money. We got a nice little curve in the wind for the money. That's perfect. Okay. We're not going to go in depth on Adobe Animate too much. I just want to use a couple of basic concepts so you can kind of understand just how things are made in here. Like I said, right now I'm just using the basic brush tool, and I'm kind of eyeballing my concept art or my reference up there, and I'm using that to kind of help me make this graphic. And it's not going to be pretty, but we're just trying to get it done really quickly. And I could, do something like this as well. Like literally go in there and add the text of the $sign and not, draw it. I'm just doing it like this to, prove a point. So this graphic's pretty much almost done. We're now gonna add some color. We're gonna use our reference that we got to help us with the colors. So we get a cool graphic to send back over to Unity. Alright, I'm done with that. I don't want to overdo this because we only have about 10 more minutes on this episode. Basically, the focus now is editing the actual game in Unity, which we did by deleting things, clicking our character, for example, and changing colors, going to our character right here and scrolling down on the inspector and going inside this character and seeing all the things that make this character up. This is the important part of Unity and how things are made in Unity, because if you can understand how to really affect the scripts and the structures of Unity, you'll be good. That's all it is. So like right here, this is our character right there, and these are all the major components that has built up this character. And the same thing, a similar thing is going to apply when it comes to making a 3D character. So, this is the player, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different components that make up that character. It's simple. If you understand how this works, everything else in Unity is going to be smooth sailing. So going and unclicking this right here, this is giving the transform component is giving us a not real world, this is giving us a game location of that game object. Right now we're 001 whatever, that's the coordinates. If I click this, those coordinates are going to be different in the transform area. So if I go back to our player and I unclick transform and I go to the next component that creates this player, I have a player controller script. We are going to briefly get into coding by pulling up the player controller script. And basically, right now I'm using Visual Studio to code and to basically give you a 1-minute deep dive into how code works in Unity is like this. Wait for this to load up. Basically, we have all these components over here. If we click our character, we have all these components over here that affect the visual of the character. If I go down here to audio source component, it affects the audio of the character. This script is the code of the character, which is essentially the brains of the character. So this character is able to know this character is able to be controlled and run and jump and stop and all that because it has a script, it has a C# script attached to it that allows all that. That's the very important part. If I turn this script off, this character is just going to sit there and be dumb. He's not going to have any type of brains to him because the brains are the code. If you understand that, like, you're really going to understand everything else. Everything else is going to really kind of come easy for you if you can just understand the basics of code and how things work. So Basically, right now in this player control script in Unity, the great thing about Unity is that a lot of this stuff you can adjust without getting into the code. So the code looks like this. Up on top it says using system collections generic, using Unity engine, using platformer gameplay. So we have all these classes that are kind of organizing this code as it starts out, and as we go through it, it has the actual code structured, and it's very confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. It's really pretty basic. This is only less than 140 lines of code. It's very simple, it's very compact, and it's really not even that much code because it's a lot of comments right here. And when I mention a comment on a code, a comment on the code is literally explaining in a comment with inside the code what it is. And that's a huge part of coding and programming. If you work on a team, for example, if I work on a team of 10 people and I need to give a project of a video game to somebody, they need to understand how to draw a character for sure, but they also need to understand how my code is working. So that's what commenting on code is. It's very important. So going back over here, the cool thing about Unity is that I can affect, for example, this character's speed. If I change that to 10 and I go and play the game, I can affect the code without going into the nitty-gritty details of the actual code. So like right now, my character is a lot faster. Cool, he's flying around. The point that I'm making is that I could have, the same code right here where it says max speed, I could have found this over here in the actual raw code. I'll just call it that to kind of differentiate things, and adjust it here. But the issue about adjusting it in here is that if you make a couple of mistakes, you can break the code and things will not work. Unity makes it really, really easy by having everything here in what's called a public float. Actually, I need to look that up. I want to make sure I'm 100% right for you guys. I'm doing this live. Public float. Public float Unity. It's a public. I'm thinking public when I say public float. I'm thinking something else. It's a public variable. So I have the opportunity to change the jump takeoff speed. For example, if I want to make him jump, I want to make him jump a little bit faster or something, I could change that, and I have the ability to have it go up or down. So that's the variable about it. And when I say public means it's front facing. It's right here. I can adjust it really quickly, go into the game, and those changes are made. Talking about going into the code. So just like that, we were able to really change this gameplay and break the gameplay really quickly. So cool. And we did that using these public variables right here. We're not going to go too much into code. We'll do that in the next episode. Right now, I want to complete the player structure in the components. So we got a little bit into the code. We changed some code. As you can see right here, I can literally change the sound effects for the character and all that type of stuff. This player controller script component is very, very powerful. You can do a lot of different stuff here. You You can change the gravity, you can change jump states, all that stuff. Going through here, you have the sprite renderer. So when you're working in a 2D environment, you have a sprite renderer that is showcasing the sprite. So I can essentially, change the color, like I said, to different colors, but I can also change the material. So I can kind of affect, let me see, I can kind of affect the shadows and things like that. By changing the material. And in 2D art, it's a lot different. So I'm not going to mess with it too much. But the point is, if this was a 3D object, we would have a lot of options with the materials. So that's the sprite renderer. And we have audio source. Like I said, you can attach audio to this character and do what you want with it. Then now we have another script. We have a health script. So these are separate C# scripts that are attached to this character to make this character work. If I go over to this enemy, same thing. We have all these different components that make up this enemy, and this particular enemy has a AI enemy controller script. So he's on a path, or he could be on a path, and he actually has a sound effect when you jump on him. So what I'm going to do is probably change that to like a doorknob or something, so that when you jump on the doorknob, it unlocks, and we have an unlock sound over there. So that's how I'm going to, make this game different. So I believe I only need maybe 2 or 3, I would say 1 or 2 more episodes of this podcast to complete this little prototype. But when you see the final version with assets downloaded and some real effort put into it, you're really gonna see how quickly we can make and edit a game with some basic tools in Unity, and how powerful it is. So let me see where we're at on time. Okay, let's add the money into the game real quick, and then we'll wrap this up and prepare for the next ones. So I wanted to show you 2 different ways that we can vectorize in Unity, or excuse me, in Adobe Animate. I wanted to show you 2 different ways that we can vectorize in Adobe Animate. Like I said, I drew this freehand. I'm going to add some shadows. Nice. That's actually not nice. It looks ghetto. Alright, so I was going to show you how I would trace this particular design, and you can kind of imagine this design being anything that you find online. You can essentially go over here in a vector program and literally just lock the bottom layer, create a new layer on top, and trace it. So right now I'm going to change the color of our line so that I can see it, and then I'm going to make it a little bit thicker, so we'll make it to probably about a 3. And what I would do if I really needed this key and I wanted to use it for a game project or something, I would do something like this right here and trace it and make it mine. So I would use my basic shapes in the program to trace it and trace it quickly. In Adobe Animate and make it mine. So I keep saying make it mine because when I trace something like this, I always want to do something that makes it uniquely mine. I don't want to just trace it and just and keep it pushing because, in my opinion, that's a little lazy. Um, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna keep this right there, and I'm gonna finish this part of the key, and then I'm gonna go back over here, and I think we're gonna change that from a circle to like a square, and add some like a company name or something in there. Just add a little bit more detail to it. But this is a great way to make your own designs and use them for Unity. And in this particular case, we're using it as like a background, sign or something in the game. But the reality is, if I go to Unity real quick, and I go to character real quick, and I go to sprites, the reality is you can use it for animation, and that's really what it's meant for. So I want to see the character. Alright, so this is our player, and if you notice, we have all of our animations, in the player, in the game engine. So essentially, we could be doing the same thing over here in Adobe Animate, and kind of, animating this sign if I wanted to, so that it lit up in the background. You have a lot of options, and in my opinion, you really only need to do something like this, to make a game like this. You really only need, two sets of software, Adobe Animate and Unity. So this is almost done. Gonna be lazy at the end right here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a circle. I will just add some text, I guess. We're gonna call it owls. Lock and key. Alright, so we're going to export this money, and we're going to export this sign. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so what I would do here is, so you kind of see how I traced out. Alright, so you kind of see how I traced out the vector. Pretty straightforward. This can now be exported and put over into Unity. Same thing with the money. I'm going to do the money first, and then we're going to end this episode so that we can prepare for the next episode, where we will be finishing this prototype in Unity. Okay, so right now I have a custom graphic that I just made, and I am bringing over into Unity. so we got our money, and I did not export it correctly. I need to export it with no background. So we're going to export it as a PNG. And yeah, I'll go over file types in the next pod. We're going to wrap this up in a second here. Alright, just exported that. Alright, and we go back to Unity, and we're just going to import this money. And when we import the money, basically, when we import the money, basically, I'm going to replace the coin over here, the diamond, with some money. And let me see. And the whole idea is that, we're spending all this time, the whole idea is that, I'm gonna have probably about maybe less than 3 hours of total work in this prototype, and it'll be a quick idea and a quick example of, making a basic 2D platformer in Unity. And I think that's something that's very, very exciting, because you can have an idea over a weekend. You can literally sit down and hammer out a really fun project or fun idea. And that's one of the best things that I love about Unity, is you can really express yourself, as a developer, as a creator. So cool. Now we have our money imported into Unity. I'm gonna go and click our diamond right here, and I'm gonna do this and literally just drag our money over here and replace it with that sprite. Actually, let's do this. That's way too big. I need to re-export that a little bit smaller, so I will do that next episode. But the point is, I can add this money right here, and we'll do it. I'm gonna do it in a ghetto way, because in Unity, basically, there's multiple ways to do anything. Right now, I'm just gonna grab this token, see where it's at, and I'm gonna rename this token to money collectible. Alright, we changed it to money collectible, and right now I'm just literally just gonna drag this sprite that we made, this graphic, and just put it on top of it. Money collectible, in the most simple way possible. So we're just gonna do it like that, so that now when we play the game, our character is able to just run over and collect this money. Like I said, it's gonna be ghetto. See, it's kind of ghetto right now because I didn't link it properly, but the point is that it works. So like I said, we're going to be changing up a few more things when we do the next episode, and we are going to be finishing up the entire prototype in that last episode. That's going to be very, very exciting. We're going to be adding more to this little 2D platformer. It's going to look totally different than what it does right now. So very excited about that. And let's add some more money just to just to have some fun real quick. Let's add more monies. And I want to make some quick changes real quick just to spice things up. So just like that, we made some quick changes to the game. We got a lot of extra money in the game right now, and we have these giant blobs that are much more menacing than the little blob that was there before. So just by scaling, and they can still die like normal. You can still collect all your money, but just by scaling that object, I was kind of able to really change, a lot. So this jumping is horrible. I gotta change that back to how it was and probably slow him down. But the point is, we've been making changes in this game and adding